It was a crisp Thursday morning in November, and while the streets of Washington, D.C. were already buzzing with the gentle chaos of the holiday season, inside the Obama home, a quiet anticipation hung in the air. Sunlight filtered through gray clouds, casting a soft glow across the familiar spaces, but nothing in the city could compete with the warmth radiating from the heart of this family. This Thanksgiving wasn't just about turkey, pies, or the familiar hustle. It was about something profoundly personal. For the first time in decades, the Obamas were gathered not merely as a family celebrating tradition, but as witnesses to a moment that would change the course of their household forever. A new generation was arriving, not through fanfare or headlines, but quietly, intentionally, and full of promise. It was Malia, their eldest daughter, who had stepped into the role of motherhood with a grace that had gone largely unnoticed by the public. And now, the family was about to experience a joy and a transformation they hadn't expected. The arrival of new life, Malia's baby girl, had entered the world in quiet secrecy, allowing Malia to embrace motherhood without the glare of public attention. In the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, she had skillfully managed the delicate balance of privacy and presence, moving through this monumental life change with a calm confidence that mirrored the strength her parents had nurtured over the years. But on this morning, the baby was about to take center stage, and the energy in the house shifted in a way that words can barely capture. Barack, a man accustomed to global attention and immense responsibility, found himself in uncharted territory as he held his granddaughter for the very first time. The tiny hand curling around his finger was more powerful than any political victory, more moving than any speech he had ever delivered. A tear threatened to escape his eye, and though he brushed it away with quiet composure, the awe in his expression was unmistakable. The world outside could wait. In that moment, nothing existed beyond the warmth and fragility of new life resting in his arms. Michelle's quiet. Joy for Michelle. The emotions were just as profound, though subtler, weaving their way through her heart like a gentle current. She had spent decades guiding her daughters with patience, love, and a quiet strength that had shaped both Malia and Sasha into the women they had become. Now, as she watched Malia cradle her own child, Michelle felt a mixture of pride, nostalgia, and wonder. Her hands lingered over the soft cotton blanket, and she whispered almost to herself, "I remember when you were this small," thinking of the years when she had held Malia and Sasha in her arms. It was a bittersweet, tender joy, a realization that time had moved with breathtaking swiftness and that the cycle of life continued, carrying forward the legacy of love and care that she and Barack had cultivated together. Malia's quiet strength. What made this Thanksgiving particularly remarkable was Malia's own presence in it. She had always been the quiet, independent daughter, someone who navigated the world with a careful awareness and subtle confidence. Now, as a mother, she carried herself with a serenity that was inspiring to witness. There was no public display, no media spectacle, no need for validation, just Malia, embracing her new role with grace and authenticity. Her calm focus, the gentle way she interacted with her daughter, and the natural rhythm of care she exhibited made it clear that this was more than a passing moment. It was the beginning of a deeply meaningful journey. The family could watch, learn, and share in the quiet miracle of transformation as Malia stepped into motherhood, carrying forward the values and love her parents had instilled in her. A family transformed. As the day unfolded, it became clear that this Thanksgiving was unlike any other. The usual festivities, roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, and Michelle's famous sweet potato casserole, remained, but they were secondary to the central presence of the baby. Barack and Michelle took turns holding their granddaughter, each exchange bringing renewed joy and quiet reflection. Sasha, the creative spirit of the family, watched with wide eyes, absorbing the profound significance of the day. She understood, even at her young age, that this was not just another holiday, but a pivotal moment in the family's history. The baby had already begun to reshape the household, creating new roles, new connections, and a deeper sense of unity. The energy in the home shifted, softening the usual intensity of daily life and replacing it with a contemplative joy that was palpable to anyone present. The gentle lessons of parenthood. Barack, often defined by his leadership and decisiveness, now discovered a new facet of himself. Holding the baby, he experienced a humility and vulnerability that only comes from witnessing the raw, unfiltered start of life. Policies, speeches, and public responsibilities faded into irrelevance as he focused on the smallest details: the curl of the baby's fingers, the quiet rise and fall of her chest, the peaceful expression on her sleeping face. In this space, he learned anew the value of patience, tenderness, and presence. Michelle, too, found herself revisiting her own journey as a mother, reflecting on the years spent nurturing Malia and Sasha, while simultaneously recognizing the distinct beauty in watching her daughter step into the same role. The day was filled with shared glances, unspoken understanding, and the comforting rhythm of familial love. Aunt Sasha steps in Sasha, always the artistic and perceptive daughter, found herself in an unexpected new role, that of the cool aunt. She approached her niece with curiosity, tenderness, and delight, embracing the responsibility with a light-heartedness that balanced the gravity of the day. She whispered promises of guidance and playful mentorship, yet beneath the smiles and giggles lay a genuine awareness of her part in this evolving family story. Her enthusiasm, creativity, and dedication to nurturing the baby's growth became yet another thread weaving the family together. Even in her quiet observations and gentle actions, Sasha's role underscored the continuity of love, care, and shared responsibility across generations. Reflections at the dinner table. When the family gathered around the Thanksgiving table, the usual sense of celebration was amplified by a deeper meaning. It was no longer just about the holiday traditions or the culinary delights. It was about witnessing the next generation and reflecting on the past while contemplating the future. Barack invited each family member to share what they were thankful for, and as they spoke, it became clear that this gathering was etched with emotional significance. Sasha reflected on new beginnings and the joy of becoming an aunt. Michelle expressed gratitude for family and health, and Barack spoke of seeing the world anew through his granddaughter's eyes. Malia, quiet yet profoundly moved, whispered her own thanks for love, support, and the life she now shared with her child. Each expression of gratitude reinforced the sense that this Thanksgiving was both an ending and a beginning, a bridge connecting what had been to what was yet to come. Looking ahead, as the night deepened and the baby slept, the family lingered by the fire, reflecting on what this new chapter meant. The responsibilities and joys of parenthood and grandparenthood had merged, creating a shared understanding of continuity, growth, and love. Barack and Michelle recognized the significance of passing on values, traditions, and guidance to the next generation, while Sasha and Malia embraced their roles as aunt and mother with quiet confidence. The conversation turned naturally toward the future, the hopes, dreams, and possibilities awaiting the baby, each family member considering the role they would play in shaping her journey. It was a conversation filled with care, intention, and a quiet recognition that the best legacies are built through love and presence rather than titles or accolades. A Thanksgiving to remember. By the end of the evening, the house had settled into a peaceful calm. The baby, peacefully resting in her bassinet, had quietly united the family in ways that nothing else could. Barack placed a gentle kiss on her forehead, whispering, "She's the future," while Michelle, smiling softly, acknowledged the circle of life they had witnessed, the lessons they had taught, the love they had given, and now the continuation of it all in their granddaughter. In that moment, the family existed simply as themselves, free from public scrutiny, free from expectation, and fully immersed in the joy of connection. It was a Thanksgiving marked not by spectacle, but by the enduring power of love, the passage of time, and the promise of new beginnings. The little girl in the bassinet was more than a new generation. She was a reminder of what truly matters, a living embodiment of hope, love, and the continuity of family.